Welcome to Snacks, the show where we get to know our favorite stars through their wild food obsessions. I'm Jo Saltz, editorial director of Delish, and today we are here with the fabulous Tony Shalhoub, who's going to tell us all about his wild adventures out in the culinary world. We'll be right back. Tony, we are so happy to have you here. It's funny because I heard about you that you have an aversion to calling yourself a foodie, which I was curious as to why.
Well, it's I don't know that it's an aversion necessarily, but I guess I'm not comfortable with that phrase. First of all, I'm struggling to land on a real definition of that word.
I agree. It's like kind of a word that means nothing. It's somehow come into the vernacular pretty quickly, but then it's like, what does it actually mean?
Right. It can almost mean anything.
Yes.
Is it a person that loves food? Is it a person that, creates food, creates dishes? Or is it a person that just has a real sophisticated palate or an appreciation for interesting dishes?
We've come to use it here at Delish to mean like someone who has an opinion, a strong opinion about food, or someone who has a point of view about food. I don't know if that's necessarily the right definition, but because I think food snobs, some people might just be like foodies or food snobs.
Well,
but
I don't want to be that. My older daughter is I would characterize her as a foodie because she has this. She's great. She's a great cook, even though that's not her profession. But she's been a food writer. She's worked when she was right out of school. She worked at Murray's Cheese in New York. She worked for Martha Stewart. She worked for Bon Appetit. So she's been in that world a lot.
Right.
But she's the kind of person that if she eats something, whether it's at someone's home or at a restaurant, she's able to identify like, oh, it's got this spice, it's got this ingredient, it's got this reduction. I'll taste something and I'll go, oh my God, what is that? It's amazing. And she'll go, oh, that must be blah, 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 blah. And you know what? I can't do that. I can enjoy it, but I can't identify it.
That's a different type of palate, I would say. Yeah, and I think it's like kind of the difference between like being a music lover and being like a musician, right? Like musicians can generally like hear different octaves or can pull out different instruments. That to me, I don't even know what I would call that level of food engagement. I mean, because I feel like I run a whole food brand and I don't even know that I could do that. I don't think I could tell if that was, maybe I'd be able to be like cinnamon, cumin. But
yeah, maybe. I mean, cinnamon I can identify.
I think we both could. All right, so then maybe
marjoram, maybe not so much.
No, definitely not.
But my daughter, not to just make this all about
Please.
her, but when it comes to cooking, and I love to cook, but I'm a real, I like to, I'm by the book.
Yeah.
I like a recipe. Give me interesting recipes. It can be complicated.
Yeah.
I'll handle it if I have the sufficient amount of time.
Yeah.
But I love to. I'm measuring things.
Yeah, you're paying attention.
If I don't have one ingredient on the list, I freak out. I have to run to the store and get that.
Right.
Whereas she is much more at ease improvising. She'll be making something and she'll go, I don't have that, but I've got like three of this and that and this and that.
Yeah.
I think this would be a good combination with this. She'll just know I would never walk off that plank.
But that's like, that takes a certain level of confidence. And that can be like met with, that can be successful or not. My mother was like that, where I would be like, why does this taste weird? She'd be like, well, it's Bobby Flay's recipe, but I didn't have zucchini, so I used jasmine rice. You know what I mean? And you're like, well, that took a lot of confidence for you to make that switch, but also it's bad.
Work.
Don't make that
Didn't
switch.
Work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people are more successful than others.
Yes, I think. But I would say you are now venturing out. I mean, I think after this show launches, Breaking Bread on CNN, people are gonna start calling you a foodie. They're gonna put you up there with Stanley Tucci. Does that give you some stress?
I couldn't touch what he does and what he knows.
Are you close with him?
And his skill. Oh yeah, we've been friends for a long time. We've worked together both, on stage and in film and in television, and he's directed me both in film and on Broadway, and so we go back a long way. And unfortunately, he lives, not unfortunately for him, unfortunately for me, he lives in London, and so I don't get to see him as often.
Right.
But
are you good eaters together? Do you eat together?
We're good eaters. I trust him. If he says, try this, I fully trust him.
Yeah.
And he's also he's a wizard in the kitchen.
Yeah, he's good. He's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. So I didn't know, though, that it was possible to get a job going around the world and eating bread. And I'm disappointed that you got that job before I did.
To be honest,
how did that happen?
I never thought, truthfully, never thought anybody would go for this idea, because I think I would pitch the show and then I'd walk out of the room and go, he just wants to go and travel around for free and eat for free. What are we going to do?
By the way, that's how I feel about every food travel show. I'm just like, these lucky sons.
And then, exactly. And then I honestly, that wasn't front and center in my mind when we did pitch the show. But then once we got to do the show, I got, it's a pretty good job.
Yeah. Where did the pitch come from?
Cut back to I want to say 15 or 16 years ago. I was living in LA, and a nephew of mine, because I'm from a big family, a nephew that's only 12 years my junior, and he started making bread at home. He was interested in it. He got really good at it. And he was bring his bread to me and talk to me about his process. And he said, what would be fun is if you could do a travel food show about bread.
And
he said, and his idea, this is kind of fun because his idea was different than what we're doing. His original notion was, he called it Breaditerranean, which I thought was super clever. Oh my God,
I love a good pun. That is so good.
And the idea was that it wouldn't even be just all me. It was to be like, okay, here's what happens. He said, as he was describing, he said, okay, so we start in Lebanon, which is where my father was from. And he said, so you do a whole bread episode about the bread in Lebanon, different areas. And then at the end of the episode, you kind of hand it off to, say, someone like Stanley.
Right.
Or like John Turturro, say, because I know all these friends and Turturro takes it and he goes to Sicily, which is where his ancestors from. And then he does a bread thing, and then he hands it off to someone, and they go to Greece, another friend. And it would be all in that region, and it would which is a brilliant idea.
Brilliant,
frankly.
Totally. It's kind of like, it's like a history.
We actually pitched it at the time. I believe we pitched it to Food Network or one of those outlets. And it just didn't get much traction. I mean, I think, frankly, it was a little ahead of its time.
Of course, yep.
Because
they were doing Chopped. They had kitchens on fire at the time.
Well, I think ahead of its time in the sense that when the pandemic hit, a lot of people, as we all know, started baking bread at home.
Absolutely.
Passing around sourdough and using their social media to talk about their bread making, and it exploded.
Yep.
So and that's how I kind of think the timing. Now the bread idea was sort of always been on the back burner. I spoke to another friend of mine who's a producer, Tamara Weiss, and she just loved the original idea, but she thought, well, if that didn't really go, maybe there's a way to kind of just alter the premise. The premise and reimagine it. My experience is it's always been about the timing.
Right, of course.
It's just the moment.
It's that life too, right?
It is. It's things catch fire or get traction really only based on the moment of time you're in.
Right. Yeah.
Monk was a perfect example. Monk, before it came to me, was at ABC for 4 years.
Right.
And then an executive left ABC and walked it over to USA. They had gotten a job at USA. And it sat there for another year. Mm-hmm. And then it came to me. But for me, it was really about, I don't think it would have worked as well 4 years before.
Right, of course.
And I think if we had started it 4 years later, it might have missed the mark.
Yes. Well, you think about that too with any show now, if that you watch from a long time ago, like where you're like, could this work now? Like, could they put this out now?
Exactly. It's that moment in time where there's a lane open, maybe, or there's some kind of sort of unknown things that happened in the culture or in the world that just clicks with this material.
Yep.
And it's so much of it is, frankly, it's being in the right place at the right. It's just luck.
I mean,
a lot of times. You
really do bring up some interesting points though now, and the cultural obsession with bread. And it's funny because actually in the bits that I saw, this idea that flour and water, that's all it is flour and water, and it's interpreted in so many different ways. What do you say is the culture that has the best bread now? Because I want to pit some people against each other right now in our social media.
Well, the best bread, I don't like to talk in terms of the best and my favorite, and because they're all so different and they're all so interesting, and it also depends. It's such a subjective thing. Your palate, your mood, the
You're
time
very
of
nice.
day.
You're a very nice person, though. I think can tell this about you. But
although I have to say I did eat some interesting things that I hadn't had before.
Okay,
like when we were in Brazil and when we were in Japan. Japan has an amazing bread culture happening. Everyone said, "Why are you going to Japan? It's a rice-centered, cuisine," and it's not.
No,
it's not at all.
They're very sophisticated.
They're making the best. Speaking of not wanting to talk about the best, but they're making some amazing French bread. They're
really
unbelievable.
So there's better French bread, and I just would like to.
Well, because we talk about this on the show, so I don't want to give
Scoop
away
it.
the store here, but there's a thing in Japan called kaizen. Kaizen means perfecting something, enhancing it, developing it. Not necessarily even in the food space, right. Whether it has to do with architecture or art or music or writing or any creative or non-creative pursuit, it's that attention to detail and constant vigilant
care.
Care and wanting to evolve something and make it sort of perfect, knowing that perfection is unattainable.
Well, I was going to say they also love the perfection of imperfection. They're very good at that.
Exactly.
And bread really is like sort of a celebration of that.
Yeah, bread is that thing that bakers become so obsessed. In the New York episode, for example, I got to shoot with Richard Hart. Richard Hart he's a rock star in the bakery world. He's worked everywhere. He had a place in San Francisco. He's like a king of sourdough.
Yeah.
And we made sourdough in my kitchen here in New York. In our conversation, he's every day, all day, is in pursuit of making the perfect loaf. And he said, and I'm never going to get there, but I'm going to keep trying. Because there's so many variables.
Totally.
It's the precipitation in the air. It's what's going on with this flour? Is it fresh flour? Is it older flour? What about the water? Is it hard? All of these different things are going to impact the final product. What about the temperature of your stove that you set it at? What's in the air? Because that's where the yeast is happening. I mean,
absolutely.
So it's all of these factors, and he is just. Also, for him, it's like the look of the bread when it comes out of the oven. It could taste perfect, but if it doesn't look perfect...
But also, if the worst thing that happens is you have maybe a slightly lousy loaf of bread, which is still insanely delicious.
Exactly. For me, it's just like, this is... How could it be more perfect?
Yeah, this is the best loaf I've ever had.
It looks gorgeous. It smells insanely good. And it stays, the flavor just kind of hangs in your mouth in the right way, and you eat it and you feel good. And you can put whatever you want on there if you need to.
Well, so when you're done with that job, call me and I will take it from you.
Okay.
So the other thing I didn't realize is that you come from a family of 10.
Yes, I'm second youngest of 10.
And so how did that like sculpt your eating habits, your snacking habits, you as a food lover in your life?
There were so many of us, and I just don't know how my parents did it.
I don't know how they did it either, honestly. 10 kids.
I have I had two, and we had help. We couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
And they had 10. I did the math. Or I was talking to my sister the other day, and we did the math. So it turns out that we were talking about a certain period of time. There was something going on. It's kind of a group thing that happened in my family. So we figured out that, I know, we were talking about a certain summer, in 1962.
Okay.
I was 8 years old. So here's the thing. My mother was 51, and my father was 50, and they had 10 kids.
Oh, my God.
I mean...
I can't.
How?
I'm going to take a nap just from that comment.
How in the world?
How in the world? But also back, at that time, too, where we just didn't have the same kinds of resources, and you're going to the supermarket.
And get this, here's the other thing. I grew up in Green Bay, but in the older part of the area, not far from downtown, really. And it's not a big town. It wasn't a big town then. And my mother didn't drive.
Oh, my gosh.
She couldn't handle, she was always kind of afraid of it. She was very good at many, many things, but driving just was it terrified her.
Oh.
So luckily we were in, fairly close proximity to a grocery store, and which the kids we were always running. And she could walk downtown if she wanted to go to the department store, which she had to do a lot because, this person was outgrowing this.
Yep.
I mean, think about that.
I can't.
Nowadays, we drive our kids places. I just didn't quite have the appreciation or the understanding until I became a parent.
What was the food house like? What was the houses like?
We started talking about
no,
food.
Yeah, was it Midwestern? Was it Lebanese?
It was kind of a mix of, because, we did love Lebanese food, and we had it around a lot, but it wasn't, we were also eating hot dogs and bratwurst and, whatever, the Midwestern fare.
Yeah, of course.
Lots of good cheese, of course. And, but it was a kind of a mix. But when they did make the Mediterranean food, the Lebanese food, amazingly, the neighborhood kids would just swarm. Because they never got anything. They didn't even recognize it.
Right.
And they loved it, especially the bread.
I mean, I have to say, because I'm Jewish, and I, in COVID, started baking a lot of bread. And the thing that my kids really grew to love was challah, which is, obviously, and that's really a Friday night thing. I mean, I wouldn't say that my family is overtly religious, but, we come together on Friday night around challah. That's basically the whole tradition. And it's funny how I really never put those two things together until we sat down to talk about it, because it is really a tradition brought together around bread, which is wild, but of course. I do have to ask you, though, so you've been acting on a variety of different shows, stage, screen, television. I'm curious, I want to know, I think my audience is very interested in the idea of craft services. And I want to know, there's this sort of elusive vision of what actors get to eat on set. I want to know, through your years, Wings, Monk, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which had the best craft services?
Oh boy, they were all very, very good. I would have to say Maisel.
Really?
Because I don't know, maybe other actors on the show have spoken about this, but it wasn't just craft services. Amy Sherman Palladino and Dan Palladino, who ran the show and wrote the show, directed the show, she's a foodie. I mean, she has a wonderful appreciation of it. She's so gracious and generous. When we had our table reads for every episode, I'm talking about the table read now.
Right.
This is, I don't, usually if you're on a TV show and there's a table read, there's a bagel, there's some coffee over here.
Yeah.
But we would go to the table reads and they would have a spread, an entire, And it always was reflective of what the episode was about.
Stop it.
I'm not kidding.
They would have themed food at the table.
Lunches. And not just like, I'm talking like a lot of food.
Give me an example of something.
I'll give Paris. Okay, because we had 2 episodes that took place in Paris, and we shot in Paris. But we did the table reads, of course, here in Brooklyn. And it was not just the spread, but like the decor and the centerpieces. It was. I have pictures of some of this stuff. It was so fun.
Oh my gosh!
And I'm talking like the best food, the best. And then when we went to, like there was a Vegas episode, and so everything was decked out like a casino with a buffet, and then Miami and the Catskills.
Oh my
and
God.
Everyone had. We just couldn't believe our luck, and I'm talking like soup to nuts, like even like a dessert thing with an ice cream stand, and it was so fun.
You are living the dream.
That job was next to Breaking Bread, really, just a fantastic experience. It went for 5 seasons, but I miss it every day.
Aww.
I wake up and I really, really want to go back.
I also wanted to ask about you as an eater in your everyday, because you are so busy. Are you a snacker? Like, what's your go-to? What's your thing?
Oh, I'm a snacker for sure.
Are you a junk food person? You don't strike me as a junk food.
I try not to do that. I really, especially lately as I get older, sugary things, I pay for it the next day.
Yeah,
especially if I eat it later in the day.
It's the worst.
I used to be able to eat everything and always wake up
Drink,
fine.
whatever. Yeah, please.
Can't do that anymore.
No, same. Also, I fall asleep.
Seth Meyers. I saw Seth Meyers' friend, but we saw him perform live this summer. He did a great bit about this, saying how there was a time in our lives when we would have a hangover if we drank the night before. Now he said, as I get older, I have a hangover just from food. He said, like
so true.
He says, he wakes up in the morning and goes, oh man, my head, did we do bread last night? And then the other guy said, yeah, we did 2 baskets. Oh my God. And which is so spot on.
It's so upsetting.
And so I really have to watch my junk food intake. Speaking of which, those the
lollipops and the Starburst, and then
the moon pies.
Moon pies, which is like a little bit of a under the radar kind of treat.
Yeah. But when I snack, I like fresh apple with like cheese, or a great slice of cheese, or apple with peanut butter, or like nuts, like almonds or walnuts. I love. And I love, I try not to pound cheese, but I do love cheese.
Cheese is like a hangover food for me now, though.
I know.
Legitimately, I'm like, I gotta be careful of this, because tomorrow I'm going to be mad at myself.
Yeah, we have to use restraint.
Yes. Especially good cheese. I mean, everybody says like good cheese, like, oh, you don't, it doesn't have preservative, whatever. It's like, yeah, but even the good cheese, because I can't stop myself with the good cheese.
That's the problem. If it's really good, you cannot. You can't stop. I also love to snack on things like, just like hummus and vegetables, or, but other kind of stuff I try to hold back.
You have no guilty pleasure food? Like, what's your little dark secret? You're so pure. You're such a pure person.
No.
I really do feel that about you. You have such a pure energy. It's so kind and good, but you have to have a little bit of a little guilty something.
Does crystal meth count?
Crystal meth. I wouldn't call it a snack.
No.
I would call that something else.
No, I went there. I knew you.
I love
After
it.
all that thing about
I'm
saying how what a
excited
good
for that
spirit
headline. I can't wait. Delish breaking news.
I guess I like, if I like chocolate.
Okay.
But if it's really, really good chocolate,
no, that doesn't. I need I need
You
like
like junky
guilty,
like a Kit Kat or something.
Well, like I mean, I don't know. I mean, of course, like pure chocolate, like good dark chocolate is like a good. That's.
But
nice.
again, there's a certain hour of the day for me, like with coffee, where
you can't have it.
Bad. I'm up all night. You know,
I know.
It's bad.
Good coffee is like another good treat. You have something against sun-dried tomatoes.
Oh yeah.
Can we have it out?
I don't want to make a big, federal case out of this.
Well,
but
I mean,
someone asked me once, because I said, I like food. There's very little I don't eat. I consider myself an adventurous eater. If something is weird, or I'll try it. I like it. And I mean, look, I'll eat sun-dried tomatoes. I'm not going to throw them off the plate. But I just don't get it. I don't get the appeal. For me, it's like gilding the lily.
Yeah.
I love tomatoes.
Tomatoes are great.
And they're perfect.
Yeah.
Cook them, slice them, saute, make a sauce, do whatever. Love them. Every form, every kind. Even store-bought, I'll eat cherry tomatoes, summer gorgeous fresh tomatoes, can't beat them. And then they
suck the life out of them?
Well, here you go. I mean, this is what I've talked about before. They're called sun-dried. They're not sun-dried.
No, they're definitely
Let's start there.
Right, okay.
That's what we call a rotten tomato. Am I right?
I don't disagree. It's upsetting me because you're kind of, because I really like sun-dried tomatoes, but I'm like, have I been living a lie this whole time?
They're dehydrated.
They're dehydrated, and that's the thing I'll say is that they're like, the thing I feel about sun-dried tomatoes, and I certainly don't feel like making this. I'm not working for this, secretly working for the Sun-Dried Tomato Council. I would say they get you to the caramelization a little faster, right? Like in order to get to that kind of sweetness, you need to roast a tomato. Sure. You need to, saute it.
You know what? You're right, and they do add to certain dishes.
Yes.
I think I would like them more if they called them something else.
Don't lie.
Give them a different name. 100%. I'll eat them every day.
They're not. No one's laying them out in the sun and then like gathering them into a jar.
Unless you want bugs and flies.
100% can get on board with that.
Okay.
Let's revisit some of your characters. If Monk joined you on Breaking Bread, what do you think he'd refuse to eat?
Oh boy. See, well, Monk always had to separate the food on his plate because he didn't like food touching.
That's a real thing.
Oh, it is definitely
a real thing.
Yeah.
My daughter, I feel like my daughter is kind of like that. I have a 12-year-old daughter. She's a little bit like that. I wouldn't say like manic, but like,
just a little awareness of it. Yeah.
So Monk didn't like things touching.
Right. And so that kind of sandwiches, then that kind of limited because that's food touching. But, and also, I guess one of the, we had this bread in Brazil, basically made of cassava flour.
What's it called?
It's called pão de queso.
Oh yes,
It's cheese bread.
Yes, a cheese bread. Mm-hmm.
But it's got cheese on the inside. It's like can be like a little ball or a big one.
Yep.
And so that might be a little weird because there's like two things combined. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure that would be.
No pizza. He wouldn't eat pizza.
Or pizza because pizza's a mixture of things. Yeah, everything sort of like has to live on its own for him.
Your journey with bread is really something that I just thinking about all the different varieties that you've gotten to try, that you've just got, like Italy pizza and France. I'm sure you got to visit all of these places.
Well, we didn't go to Italy.
No Italy.
Because that's covered by the Stanley
everybody's
show.
done it.
But we did do pizza, but we did it in Jersey City.
Oh.
Which is kind of like Italy, really.
Where did you? It's kind of like Italy. Yeah, where in Jersey City? Cool. What was the name of the place? Do you remember?
Razza. I highly recommend.
I'm like, are we getting that for lunch today? It's not far. Jersey City's like right there. You can see it
Makes
from here.
Sourdough pizza crust.
A sourdough pizza crust?
He's a wonderful, wonderful chef and pizza maker. This place is awesome. Oh, we did go to France. We went to Tokyo. We went to
milk bread?
We went to Iceland, Japanese milk bread, and others. And interesting panko crusted pork. Oh my God, so good. Oh
my gosh. How are you
Iceland.
not 1 million pounds?
You know what's funny? I'm glad you asked me that. I did this show for 4 months, and I actually lost weight.
Ugh.
Go figure.
We're done. He's done. He's out. This doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. What? Is it like because of all the walking? Like, what was it? What do you think it really was?
Walking, a lot of walking.
Yes.
Chewing.
A lot
burns.
of chewing.
Chewing, especially chewing bread, it burns so many calories.
Obviously.
When you're eating constantly,
it's just like falls off.
The weight's falling off.
This is the trick. This is the Tony Shalhoub. Although I will say there probably is something to be said for eating professionally, right? Like, and I would say that even running Delish, you are. It stops being. It's not that it's not special, but it's also so often that you're like, okay, I don't need a lot. Right? Like, I just want a little bit. We have at Delish, we have a 2-bite rule, which is like, you can pretty much get. You can get like when we're doing tastings or we're testing recipes, it's 2 bites, and then that's it. That's all you really need to tell you what it is.
I'm going to incorporate that.
But I think it's amazing that you lost weight. And my audience is going to be pretty upset about that. Horrified. The all bread diet. We are
No one's tried that before.
Nobody has tried it. I do feel like you should do a book on that. The Tony's all bread diet. It's like the anti-Atkins.
Exactly.
I do like that.
Carb loading.
Carb loading.
I'm just going to keep saying that.
I do feel like, and I lost weight. You should end every episode of Breaking Bread ends with that. Like, and I'm down 10 pounds.
If we do a season 2, I'm just going to disappear probably.
You probably are. I think so too. I have loved spending this time with you. It's
Thank you.
I feel like I could talk to you all day. It's been such a joy. I'm really excited for this show. Please keep doing all the wonderful things you're doing. Please make sure that you do a season 2.
I wish that were up to me.
I know. Well, we'll campaign. I want to thank my guest, Tony Shalhoub, for being here. Please check out Breaking Bread, CNN, Sundays at 9 p.m. Please follow us at Snacks Podcast and like and subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts. We'll see you soon.